Well, another one bites the dust. You're watching Liquid Lunch on NEWSMAX TV. I'm Frank Morano, sitting in for John TABACCO. I think if Andy Warhol were alive these days, rather than say in the future everyone would be famous for 15 minutes, I think instead what he'd probably say is that every 15 minutes somebody will lose their job because of a sexual harassment claim related to the Me Too movement. And such as it was with the CEO of McDonald's, who has been forced out after having a consensual relationship with an employee there. Now, here to help us break it down is our favorite employment attorney, Jonathan Bell of the Bell Law Group. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you, Frank. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So the whistleblower sticking around for us as well. Whistleblower, thank you.
I'll give my card on the way out.
Be careful. The president wants to charge his attorney with treason. Jonathan, what exactly happened with the McDonald's CEO? What were the facts here, and why was he forced out?
It's very simple. CEO in a company having a relationship with a subordinate employee. Forget consensual, non-consensual. It should never happen. There has to be something in the handbook precluding this type of a relationship, because at the end of the day, when somebody has the authority over someone's job and how they get promoted in the company, is it ever really consensual? That's number one. Number two, the co-employees that work with this individual might feel, hey, there's favoritism here, and they're favoring the girlfriend, the boyfriend, whatever it may be. Just don't do it. If you're a manager, a supervisor, a CEO, do not date or get into a romantic relationship with somebody who you supervise. It's very clear.
Certainly, if we're going to be prudent and we're going to be cautious, that's the way to do it, is to not get involved with anybody at work, especially a subordinate. However, you know, reality being reality, a lot of people, a lot of hardworking CEOs especially, they spend an enormous amount of their time at the workplace. And it's not as if they have all this free time to go trolling around single bars. Here you have a situation where no one's alleging any coercion, no one's alleging any abuse, no one's alleging anything immoral or unethical on the part of this CEO here, Mr. Easterbrook, right?
Yes.
Why should someone, even if it is a manager or even a CEO, lose their job when two consenting adults want to have a relationship?
Really, if you're a CEO of a company or you're a manager or supervisor, don't put the company at risk, okay? It's consensual now. Will it be consensual in 6 months? Will it be consensual in a year? There's plenty of other people out there. You don't have to deal with that. If it's a co-employee, it might be a different situation. A lot of companies have something called love clauses.
I understand what you're saying in terms of the prudence of engaging in a relationship with a subordinate, and you'll get no argument from me that everybody should err on the side of caution. My issue is, why should this guy be fired for engaging in a consensual relationship here?
Because if you allow him to get the pass, that means the next manager, the next supervisor thinks that they get a pass. And again, going back to my earlier point.
But why is it a pass if it's consensual?
Because again, could it ever really be consensual if the person is control of the basically projection of their job?
Well, I think the other consenting adult had better think long and hard about getting involved in a relationship with a supervisor or a boss.
But that's my exact point. They might be put in a situation where that person of power is hitting on them, flirting with them. They might not feel comfortable saying no. You're just assuming that, hey, in the perfect world, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, I'll take a pass, and they'll move on. But that's not always what happens.
That kind of relationship, the one you're describing, isn't consensual, it's coercive. You know, so like my father, his last 2 wives, including his current wife, my stepmother, both worked for him. I certainly don't think my dad should have been fired for marrying 2 women who at one time worked for him. It just strikes me as this being another example of the world going a little crazy and a meritorious movement going a little too far. Very quickly, we're going to leave that there, and I'm sure we're going to review that in the future. We're seeing a report in the Wall Street Journal. Younger workers are saying they see more discrimination, and different generations are experiencing sexism, racism, and ageism. Why are workers these days so sexist, racist, and ageist?
It's actually very interesting. So what's happening, these younger employees, I guess they're just learning what their rights are. It's out there in the news. They're more aware of this happening. So I guess they're more sensitive to it. A lot of this is perception. It's not necessarily discrimination if they feel like they're being discriminated against. Also, How many times have you heard people talking, oh, these millennials today? You're characterizing them in a group in a negative way, so they're hearing that and they're rolling with it and saying, hey, don't couch me in a group just because I'm within a certain age bracket and say I'm lazy, I don't work for what I get, and things of that nature.
Jonathan Bell of the Bell Law Group. Jonathan, if people want to sue their employer or want protection in a consensual relationship, how can they get in touch with you?
Bell Law Group, belllg.com. Feel free to give me a call.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Have a good weekend. When we return, we will bring you all the latest news you may have missed, including a rather surprising announcement from Megyn Kelly. The Whistleblower and I will be right back here on Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano.